The diplomatic vessel materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system without warning. Admiral Rebecca Torres stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, her coffee halfway to her lips when the sensors screamed their alerts. The ship was unlike anything in their databases, organic curves mixed with crystalline structures that seemed to shift in the starlight. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission," Lieutenant Marcus Webb announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. It's a distress call." Rebecca set down her cup. In her 15 years commanding humanity's first deep space defense fleet, she'd never received a distress call from an alien species. Humanity had been part of the Galactic Council for only 3 decades, and they were still considered the newcomers, the primitives who'd barely earned their seat at the cosmic table. "Put it through." The view screen flickered, and a face appeared that would haunt Rebecca's dreams for years to come. The alien's features were elongated, with luminescent skin that pulsed with soft purple light. 3 eyes blinked in sequence, and when it spoke, the translation, Dr. James Martinez paced the emergency session of Earth's United Assembly, his presentation floating in holographic detail above the delegates. As humanity's chief xenosociologist, he'd spent weeks piecing together the Velascan crisis from fragmented intelligence reports. The Velascans were once the Council's premier scientists, James explained, pulling up images of their magnificent floating cities. They developed the quantum-fold technology that made interstellar travel instantaneous. They cured the Crimson Plague that nearly wiped out the Torati homeworld. He paused, letting the weight of his next word settle. Then they discovered something. Evidence that the Council's founding species, the ones who set all the rules, had committed genocide against a pre-spacefaring civilization 12,000 years ago. The Velascans published their findings. Ambassador Patricia Okonkwo leaned forward. "Let me guess. The Council didn't appreciate the truth. They declared the Velascans historically revisionist and enemies of galactic stability," James continued. 73 member species voted to strip them of Council protection. Their trade routes were closed. Their colonies were blockaded. In 6 months, President Elizabeth Hartley stood before the World Council, knowing that her next words would define humanity's place in the galaxy. Through the windows of the new Geneva complex, she could see protesters on both sides, those waving signs reading, "Remember Earth's refugees," and others screaming, "Humanity first." "The Council has made their position clear," Elizabeth said, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. "If we grant the Velascans sanctuary, we will face immediate economic sanctions. Our trade agreements will be terminated. Our exploration permits will be revoked. We will, effectively, be isolated." Council member David Osei from the West African Federation spoke first. "Madam President, we've only just achieved interstellar status. We can't afford to make enemies of 500 civilizations. Can we afford to become the kind of species that turns away refugees?" Shot back Maria Volkov from the Eurasian Alliance. "Our entire history is..." 6 months later, Commander Jake Wilson walked through what the press had dubbed New Alaska, a sprawling refugee settlement in the Australian outback that had transformed into something extraordinary. The Velascans had brought their technology, their art, their desperate gratitude. A Velascan child, no higher than Jake's knee, ran past chasing a ball with human children. Their laughter needed no translation. Nearby, Velascan engineers worked alongside human counterparts, building fusion reactors that would power half the continent. In exchange for sanctuary, the Velascans had shared everything: their science, their medicine, their culture. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the integration program, joined Jake at the Overlook. "The Council sent another message today. They're confused. They don't understand why we'd sacrifice so much for aliens we'd never met." Jake watched as a Velascan elder taught a group of human students the art of quantum mathematics, her 3 eyes bright with purpose. "That's because they've never had to be refugees themselves. We have. Every human nation, every ethnic group, every family, somewhere in our past, we ran. We were cast out. We know what it means to..." 1 year after the Velasquez' arrival, Admiral Rebecca Torres stood before the Galactic Council's communication relay, knowing her message would reach 500 worlds. Earth had been officially declared a rogue state by Council standards. They were alone. But Rebecca smiled as she began to speak. To the Galactic Council and all member species, Earth acknowledges your sanctions. We understand your position. But we want to make something clear. She gestured behind her, where human and Velasquez scientists worked side by side in the joint research facility. Humanity was told we were too violent, too divided, too primitive to join your council. You barely accepted us. And now you tell us that compassion is a weakness. That sanctuary for the persecuted is foolish. Rebecca's expression hardened. Then we choose to be fools. We choose compassion. And we want every species out there, every civilization that's been cast aside,